guys. So you haven't missed much, except for a lot of playing in the dirt. I have gone in and hand turned this soil and pulled out most of the live root. The worm activity in here is really encouraging. We just built these beds last year, and as you can see down in the bottom of this one, it all started out red clay. So to already look this nice and rich 1 year in, I'm pretty excited about it. So today, we are doing my favorite experiment in this year's garden. We are going to try to minimize the transplant shock of these peas. So I have seen where we could start them in the gutters, which I just filled an old gutter that we had taken off of one of the buildings we tore down around here, and seeded them in little rows of 3 all the way across 3 weeks ago. So these are 3-week-old pea shoots. They look to be starting their first little tendrils on the top. So it is time to put them in. The idea is that we tilt this and shake them out, and then there isn't any root shock as we are pulling them and transplanting them. And they're already in our rows. I have a few trellises that we will put in and some little sticks to put in for them to grow their tendrils up to begin with. But let's see how this works. All right, so I don't know what it takes to get it started. Let's try. There we go. Oh, it's moving. All right, here we go. Delilah, get back. Oh, that was pretty nice. That was pretty nice. Okay, let's do the other one. Oh, give it a little more space there. All right, and then let's bang the bottom. That seemed to help last time. Oh. A little more vertical. There we go. Hey. I think I'm gonna call that a win for the first try. All right, let's put the trellises in before we cover them with dirt. So I'm gonna put the trellises on the outsides so that I am less likely to have a fluffy animal digging in it. Now these trellises I've used for a couple of years. They were inexpensive and have grown black-eyed peas and lima beans since we were growing things in 5-gallon buckets. So I believe next year I might finally retire them. They're getting a little rickety, but for this year they will suffice. I do have some really exciting things that I'm gonna try in some of the trellises this year, but I just haven't had time to put any of those together yet. So today we're making do with these. I am one who likes to use anything I can find. I would rather use something I have than spend Monday, which is how some of these trellises are gonna get made. So we'll see how they work out. But for today, I'm pretty happy with this experiment. I'm gonna cover these with dirt and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're all done. All right, there's our little piece. Oh. So you'll notice I did add on the inside here some little twigs and branches, just so that as these little tendrils on the top are trying to find their way up to this trellis, there's not as wide of a space for them to go. This already is at the tops of where these little tendrils are. You can go in and just lay them on top of it if you'd like. Sometime throughout the night, as they twist their way, they will find these branches and the branches will lead them to the trellis. So hopefully it looks like a good start to a great pea harvest this year. And peas are certainly one of our favorites. How exciting. This was a great experiment today, guys. I'm so glad we did it. So this was my plan for where to put the flowers. It was eaten by a bunny rabbit at some point. So, but you can see that at least, I mean, we're squared out. We've got wildflower mix, and then we've got English daisy, sweet William, and catnip, snapdragons, blanket flowers, calendula, and then sunflowers all along the back. Instead of doing zinnias here, I did do peonies and dahlias. So my sweet little Madeline here. Madeline, you want to tell them which ones you planted? What did you plant?
I planted wildflowers.
Yeah.
Sunflowers. And that's it.
You want to show them the boxes of wildflowers you planted?
These are the boxes of wildflowers.
Yep. So this one says that it is a bird and butterfly mix. And this one says that it is just a sunny area mix. We decided that we could never have too many flowers, so we put the entire box in each section. So this section is about 3 or 4 feet wide and about 2 feet deep. I did leave walkways between each square of flowers so that I can walk through and cut them for bouquets later. These are some giant sunflower seeds that were gifted to me from a loved one.
Can I tell them what happened with the ladder?
Yeah?
So we had a carpenter on a brick and Lila just bopped him into the crack.
We found a carpenter bee and the dog probably killed it. This year we're testing out some new sunflower breeds. I have a dwarf teddy bear, which looked really cute and fluffy. I don't know if you guys can see it. Uh-oh. So they're like fluffy and fun. And then we just have these sunny, different colors, burgundies and oranges and traditional yellows. They're gonna be a regular size, that's not a dwarf. And this one is also just a dwarf yellow sunflower. So we will cut some of those for bouquets. I'm sure that I will use some of those to feed the chickens because they love the seeds so very much. We planted some calendula just because it is one of the first flowers to bloom in the season. So I'm trying to bring in all of the pollinators. Making drums over there?
Yeah.
Can we drum it later? Please? Thanks. So these bloom very, very early. They will bring in the bees and the pollinators that we need to pollinate the flowers and eventually pollinate the vegetables. So I try to make sure to get these in just because I want to bring in as many bees and butterflies and birds as possible because I want a larger harvest every year. We did plant all of this mixed color snapdragons just because I really like snapdragons. So most of those will probably end up inside my house. And also I planted these, baby please, these blanket flowers because they're tall and they're good for cutting flowers, and I just thought that the colors were going to look really nice mixed in with all of the sunflowers, and they will probably bloom at about the same time as my sunflowers. I did have on the plan originally to plant some Sweet William in this bed. I had that packet of seeds in my hand a few days ago and then couldn't find it. So what we did was found an old bag of wildflower mix that had gotten wet, and I'm not sure if it was still viable, but if you don't plant it, it's definitely not viable. So we threw the last of that in there and we will see. In worst case scenario, we end up with a bald spot and I find something new to put in that space. So today we have finally finished planting the cutting garden. I do have a small little bit of catnip over there. Catnip makes a pretty good filler in a bouquet, and we have a barn cat outside and a cat that is indoor and outdoor, and I had that pot inside the house and she kept eating it, so I'm not sure if that's going to necessarily last or if the cats are going to completely destroy it, but I figured it was worth a try. So you know, just another experimental bed. We'll see what it looks like in 50 to 60 days, but hopefully it's going to be full of flowers to cut and take inside, right?
Yeah, make bouquets.
And make bouquets, that's right. So anyway guys, thanks for building a flower bed with us. It's been a few days long. Happy growing.